Friends, hey, I just finished editing this video and thought maybe I should go back and do a little intro and let you know that the video you're about to watch is my June reading wrap-up. And the day that I did it, the intern was homesick. Felon Bo was in my office just starting to come down with a cold, and I had just launched my Patreon that day, so I was a little nervous and a little like this. So the books are great. The audio in the video is really good. The lighting's a bit off, but I promise you, if you stick through it, it'll be worth it. So with no further ado, I'm going to kick you back a couple of days to a very busy day that I shot my June reading wrap-up. Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, we've been relegated to the office because the intern is homesick and it's windy outside and the neighbor's mowing his lawn. Can y'all hear that? Yeah, neighbor's mowing his lawn, so we can't sit outside. I keep looking, thinking that maybe the wind is dying down so we can go outside, but we're here. We're just going to stay here. So I tell you what, y'all go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I'll get things settled here and then I'll tell you what we're up to. All right, first of all, I don't know what's going on with this light. I don't know, it's actual natural sunlight coming in from outside, so I have no control over it. So it's gonna do what it's gonna do. So sorry about that. But anyway, y'all are not gonna believe this. We are actually gonna do a monthly summary of reading at an appropriate time. So it is the beginning of the month. So I'm gonna summarize all the books that I read last month right now. So here are the books that I read in June. Now I have them arranged here in kind of an orderly fashion, but I forgot that I want to start with a book that I don't own. And it's called, can y'all even see that? It's Some Kind of Courage. And this is, it's not even YA. It's like a middle grades book, which is fine because I'm reading it with a middle gradeser. And it is, so I picked it for this kiddo based on the reviews, and I hoped it would be great because the reviews said it was great, and y'all, it is fantastic. So it's by Dan, I almost said Neil, it's not Neil, it's Dan Gamenhart, and it's about this boy named Joseph who lives in sort of the Old West, and we follow him through this. It's definitely a coming of age story, but he's 12 years old. And when we meet him, okay, this light is not good. Sorry about that. But, and I feel like if I move, it's just going to make it worse. So I'm going to pretend like I don't know. Anyway, so when we meet Joseph, he's living with this man that his dad left him with when his dad died. And we find out in the very beginning of the book that this man has sold Joseph's horse, which is his only possession, the only thing in the world that he has and that he cares about. And so he's going to find his horse. And that's the story, Joseph's trek to find Sarah, his horse. And of course, as he goes on this trek, we learn about Joseph. And it's a story, again, it's a middle grades story. So it's pretty simple, but y'all, it's really good. And it teaches lessons about friendship and about understanding and acceptance and honesty, which is why I picked it. Because, I mean, without telling too much, I needed something for some lessons in honesty. And this book, y'all, it's just fantastic. And I would say it definitely for sure is about I don't know, 5th-ish grade reading level, but lots of conversation points, lots of things to talk about. It's really very, very good. So I highly recommend Some Kind of Courage. I'm going to stick the picture here because y'all can't. It's like black on black with more black on here. So Some Kind of Courage. Now, let's get into my books. And I have them, I think this is the order in which I read them, but, and again, much like Some Kind of Courage, this one is sort of asynchronous. And this is Unbroken Bonds of Battle by Johnny Joey Jones. Y'all, I love me some Joey Jones. Look, hang on. I got to show you the picture of Joey Jones. Rare. Joey Jones is a retired Marine, a battle-wounded retired Marine who collected the stories of other soldiers. They're 10 sort of, like, I feel like I'm not even like fit to tell the story about their stories, but they're just sort of the way that their stories are told. They're just sort of everyday Americans who felt like they were called to serve. And in his book, Joey sort of weaves together their stories, and they tell the stories of the people that they served with. And y'all, this is fantastic. Now, I say this book is sort of asynchronous in my sort of pile of books that I read this month, because I read it in dribs and drabs. Like, this is not like, you might sit down and read it cover to cover and just devour it because it's that kind of book. It's really, really good, but I couldn't read it all at once because it's just so touching and the stories are just so gripping. I had to, like, sort of take it a little bit at a time, but it's definitely about military service. It's about the trials and tribulations. Can you say that? It's about the tests that these people went through, and it's about friendships and the bonds that they created. Now, I've read a couple of reviews of this book that absolutely turned my stomach because they talked about the writing in the book. Now, Joey's writing is great, and the writing of the, sort of the frame story is really good, but there are firsthand accounts from the soldiers in this book. And I've read some reviews that critique that writing, like the grammar that they use and stuff. Seriously, as these people are telling their own personal tales. So I feel like that was a choice that was made by Joey and the editors to leave that in there, like to not sort of gatekeep these guys, these soldiers, it's not just men, these soldiers' stories by going in and sort of smoothing out the rough edges of their language or, of their grammar or whatever, to let them actually tell their stories. And y'all, Joey Jones is from Dalton, Georgia. Like, he talks the way folks from Dalton, Georgia talk. So Joey was not going to go in and talk to these folks about how they talk and how they write. So anyway, that just flew up against me, those critiques that I read about this book. And I love Joey Jones, so it bugged me when folks said mean things about his book. But anyway, so Unbroken Bonds of Battle. Joey's got another book that just came out, which I have not read yet, called Behind the Badge. So this one obviously is about soldiers. Behind the Badge, is that right? I think it's right. I'll stick it here. Is about, I have it on Kindle, but I don't have a physical copy of it yet, and I haven't read it yet. But it's about first responders. And he talks to first responders that he knows personally, interviews them and tells their stories. So I'm really excited to read that, but I just need to, now that I've made it through this one, I'm going to work my way through that one. So Unbroken Bonds of Battle, that was my sort of throughout the month book. The first book that I actually read this month was Lessons in Chemistry, which, y'all, I've had this book forever, but look at this. Ugh, love. So I'm probably the last one of us to read this book, but it's about Elizabeth Zott, who, look, this is obviously a British version of it. Can y'all see? It's got like the price in pounds. So anyway, Elizabeth Zott is our female main character, and she was a chemist in the 60s and all the things that go along with that. So she dealt with the sexism and limitations that went along with being in the STEM field in the 60s. So, like I said, I think I'm probably the last one to have read this book. I'm trying to think of I have notes, but I'm trying to think of what to tell without giving too much away. Of course, she is harassed in school, in her college. She is harassed in her PhD program. So she ends up in, as a matter of fact, when we meet her, she's already working in the chemistry field, and we learn why. And I think it's pretty early on that we learn about her having been harassed in her PhD program. And so she goes into actually working in chemistry. And then, of course, even in doing that, like working in the chemistry field, in a STEM field, not in education, but like in the STEM field, more drama ensues there. And then she falls in love. She meets a man who loves her for her brain, and they are so sweet and so perfect together. And now I'm going to stop telling you things that happen, except that I'm going to tell you that she ends up being a single parent to a daughter who is just like her. Well, she becomes a single-ish parent because she has help raising her little girl. But in the process of all of that, she becomes the host of a cooking show that she puts sort of her chemist spin on. And then all kinds of things ensue from that. Y'all, it is an exceptionally good book. It's very well written. The banter is good. Now, there were a couple of times that, of course, there are social issues that are addressed in the book that are addressed very well. They come up very naturally. There are a couple that are kind of jammed in there that I was like, do we have to do all of them? But it's very good. It's very well done. It's very interesting. Even as you're reading it and you're like, okay, well, and you're, just kind of putzing along with the plot, there are twists that you're like, wait, what just happened? It's told by an omniscient narrator and weaves the different timelines together. So we go through sort of the air quote modern timeline that drives the story, but then we get Elizabeth's timeline and like various timelines interweaving, like her school timeline and various other timelines interweaving. But it doesn't get confusing. It's very easy to follow. It's very good, very interesting, and there's some twists. So I finally read Lessons in Chemistry. It's very, very good. When I finished this one, it was a little much, so I was ready for some Lucy Score. Y'all remember when we got this book with the fancy edges? Did I tell y'all the intern is homesick? Yeah, I did. That's why we're up here. He's downstairs watching movies. So if you hear like, I don't know, Gladiator in the background, that's what we're hearing. Plus, of course, there's a felon in here snoring on my floor. So we got Lucy Score, The Story of My Life with the Fancy Edges. Y'all, this is so Lucy Score. I can't even stand it. Our female main character is Hazel, who, of course, starts the book with a broken heart. She's a writer living in New York. I'm trying to think what we know in the beginning so I don't tell too much, but she's just been dumped. She's missed like all of her publishing deadlines, so things are just not going well for her. And then when like things are just spinning out of control and she sees an online post or something about this hottie hot fix-it man in this little town in Pennsylvania who helps an old woman, and she is off to the races. She is going to, I was thinking there was something on the cover that told us this, but she goes to the town of Story Lake to find the man and find the thing and do all the things and to, sort of save herself. And y'all, it is just so fun and so cute and so Lucy Score. And before I even forget, there is some spice. I mean, there's Lucy Score spice. Like, it's not, y'all know, I'm going to say, it's not Butcher and Blackbird spice, but it is spice. So it's very good. We get the hottie hot, small town, country boy. Now it's not like rodeo, like it's not cowboy country boy, but it's small town. We get the boy, we get the brothers, we get the fix-it man, we get all of those like manly man fixing things kind of tropes. So if you're not down with that, don't bother. Like, you will be annoyed through the entire book because it's so much of what drives the plot. But y'all, it's so much fun. And there were some twists and turns and some fun stuff, but just all in all, it was just a fun read. It's kind of it's a tome. It's 600-ish pages, 512 pages, but quick read, very fun, very Lucy Score. Loved it. After this, I thought I was ready for some Dungeon Crawler Carl. Now, this is it lit RPG or RPG lit? RPG, lit RPG. So it's literature slash role-playing game, like all kind of rolled into one. So it's a book based on, or sort of not based on, but like modeled around a role-playing video game, which if you're a gamer, I think you will love these. Let me tell you about it and then I'll get to all that. So, Carl, there's Carl. Carl, I think they're in New York, is living in New York and has just broken up with his girlfriend or fiance or something. And he's got her prize-winning show cat because I think she like took off and left him and hasn't come back to get the cat yet. So he has the cat and he's all mad and heartbroken. So he's coming up with like all these ways that he's going to keep the cat or sell the cat or skin the cat or do whatever with the cat. But, you know, of course he loves the cat. So I'm trying to think if there's anything on here that y'all need to see or if I can just set it down. So he's got the cat in the apartment in New York and the cat jumps out the window onto the tree, which she never does. And Carl is like sitting in the house in his boxers or something. So he jumps up, grabs the closest thing to put on, which happens to be like his girlfriend's robe or something, to run outside and get the cat. So he goes outside to grab the cat. And the instant that he does that, this sort of eschatological, cataclysmic event happens, and every human-made structure on Earth crashes to the ground, killing all the humans, like everything inside of them, all the humans, all of the everything inside, all of the structures on Earth. So Carl and the cat are outside, so they survive. And all of the, I think like as the structures crash, they get turned into this dungeon thing. So Carl hears this voice that tells him he now has to decide if he's going to go into the dungeon or just die. So he and the cat decide they're going to go into the dungeon, and now they're in the video game. So they're now in this game, which is the end of the world, which is being televised. So now Carl and the cat, Donut, are a team, and they're in this game that they have to make their way through and survive. And y'all, it's a little brutal. Now, this is what I started to say before. I think probably if you're a gamer, you will love this. It was a lot for me for a couple of reasons. One, like they did things that I was like, wait, what? Like Carl would like get into a situation and be looking for the menu or something, which to a gamer I'm sure is like the most natural thing. Or he'd get stuck in a room and be like, okay, there's got to be a key here somewhere, which again I'm sure is like a gamer thing. But so I'm sure all of it made sense. I just didn't really get it. And it was a lot. Like, I mean, it's the eschaton, like it's the end of the world the whole time, which again, to a gamer that plays those kind of games, I'm sure that's all fun and great and good, but like I was like this the whole time. And I started reading it, and some viewers suggested that said the audio is great, like the Audible is great and listen to it. Don't read it, listen to it. So I ended up listening to it, which was really good. It was very enjoyable, well performed. It was really, really good. It just really wasn't my bag. So I think it's good. I think it's entertaining. I think that if it's your kind of thing, you will love it. It just really wasn't my kind of thing. And the whole time I was like this. And yeah, so I think that's all I have to say about that. You work your way through the thing with Carl and Donut. And it's funny because just like playing a video game, they learn as they go along. Like they learn how to survive, and they learn like where they are and what's happening and what different things do. And like you can get sponsors, and sponsors drop you. Okay, I'm not going to say anymore. I think I've already said too much, but they figure things out as they go along. And it really is very entertaining. And again, I'm sure if you're a gamer, it will make much more sense to you than it did to me. So, and this is book 1 of, I think, 6 so far. Like, I think book 6 drops, either it just dropped or it drops the end of this month. So there are a bunch of them. This light, y'all, I am so sorry. Sorry. Anyway, so after Dungeon Crawler Carl, I was ready for some Gossip Girl. So I finally read Magnolia Parks. Now y'all know, can y'all see my Magnolia Parks face out over there? I have the cute cover of Magnolia Parks over there. This is the book to read because I didn't want to touch the one with the cute cover. So let me say in the beginning, I love Magnolia Parks. I knew what it was. I knew what I was getting myself into. If you and if you're going into this thing looking for some like deep story, some kind of like redeeming romance, some theme, some anything, then do not waste your time. You will hate it. I was looking for a palate cleanser, something vapid and silly. I was looking for Gossip Girl in a book, and that is exactly what I found, and I loved it. So, Magnolia Parks is the British version. I mean, it's not Gossip Girl, but if you know Gossip Girl, you'll understand. It is like a British Gossip Girl on paper. It's all posh and silly and high fashion. The relationships are absolutely toxic, and you cannot help falling in love with the characters and with their relationships, and you get mad at them, and like their relationships are toxic, but you just can't walk away. So Magnolia, of course, is our main character. So that's Magnolia, and that's BJ. Magnolia and BJ. And they are desperately in love and horribly toxic. They're on again, off again throughout the whole book. And like you root for them the whole time. Like sometimes you root for them to be together, and then sometimes you root for them to be apart, and sometimes you root for one or the other of them to like get hit by a trolley car or something. And just when you think you've seen it all and you think they've been as awful to each other as they possibly can be, something else happens, and then it's like worse than you thought it could be. I think I actually cried in this book. Like I think I actually cried. I know. Ridiculous. Anyway, it's told in alternating first-person perspectives. So, as if all of the, toxic, ridiculous relationship stuff wasn't bad enough, you see it through each character's eyes, and just when like one of them's about to do something awful, you switch and you see the other character that it's fixing to happen to, and there's text messaging. I know, dude, it's so great. So then there are a bunch of them. I've got Daisy Hates is the next one. And oh, look, can you see her right there? That blue book right there on the shelf? Daisy is right over there. Oh, she's coming. We're going to read us some Daisy Hates this summer too. So, Magnolia. So after that, I was ready to get serious. And we talked about this. We read this together. All the Colors of the Dark, Patch and Saint. This is dark, and it's... I don't even know how to talk about this book. So, Patch, and we've already talked about it. So I don't want to say too much. I don't want to like retell things that we've already told. But this is about a small town that gets absolutely ripped apart and destroyed by missing girl crimes and their attempt to put themselves back together by figuring out what happened. That's truly like, and it happens over decades. I mean, that's truly what this book is about. I hadn't thought much about what I was going to... Hang on, look. So here's my Magnolia Parks notes. I had to plug in my thing. Here's my Magnolia Parks notes, and here's my all the colors notes. Like, I really hadn't thought about what I was going to say about this. And that's all I'm going to say about that is I love it. The characters are great. It's so, so, so rich. There are parts that I had to listen to instead of reading because the character is going through things and the character's thoughts are so disjointed and they're written in such a way that they're so disjointed that I could not read it. So I listened to it. So I listened and read this, and it's just so, so good and heartbreaking and heart mending. And it's just all the things. It was really, really great. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I did a whole video on it, which I will, of course, link here. So after that, I was ready for some Grishaverse. Now, this was a reread of a book that I thought I knew that I was just like gonna breeze through because y'all, we've talked about this before. I want to read Six of Crows and I've not made it past Shadow and Bone. So I got to do Shadow and Bone and then whatever the other two are. So this is a trilogy, and then Six of Crows is the first one of like there's a duology that comes right after this trilogy, and Six of Crows is the first one of the duology. So I got to read this first, which you're not supposed to have to, but I started to try to read Six of Crows and was like, what language am I even reading this in? So, I know this light. Sorry, y'all. What if I know. Let's just finish this and be done. Get out of here. So, again, I read this before. I thought I knew it. What I thought I knew nothing. So, this is about a girl who at the beginning of I was going to say at the beginning of the book, she's an orphan. I don't think you become not an orphan. I think like you can think you're an orphan and then find your parents, but you don't become not an orphan. She's legit an orphan. So she's an orphan. What am I even talking about? She goes, and I know everybody, like as much as everybody's already read Lessons in Chemistry, everybody's already like knows everything about the whole Grisha verse. So Alina, our female main character, from whom the story, like from whose first person perspective the story is told. The hell kind of construction was that? So the story is told from Alina's perspective. It is first person, and she goes to war as an orphan, and they're fighting, of course, it's a fantasy book, so they're fighting this dark force, and not going to tell you much, because if you're one of the 7 people that's interested in this and hasn't read it yet, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it's very good. I'm going to say that. It's very good. So they go to fight in this war, and something happens, and it turns out that it's Alina, right? That's her name. That's what it is in my head. So if it's wrong, sorry. But she has powers that she didn't know she had. So she ends up training with the Grishaverse. They are like some magical elites led by the mysterious Darkling. So it's the typical, like you have to cross the darkness and there are monsters in the darkness and then things happen in the darkness. It's, like in ACOTAR, it's the woods and you go into the woods and the bad things are in the woods. This is you have to cross the darkness and the bad things are in the darkness and they get attacked in the darkness, and that's where Alina realizes she has the powers and they have to fight the darkness, and light fights dark and whatever. It really is good. That's why I wanted to say that I enjoyed it, because I knew I was going to say things that made it sound like it was all cheesy and dumb. I think I don't know why I didn't remember any of this from the first time I read it, but there were things that surprised me. Y'all had read this book before, and then I got surprised reading it again. I know. There were things that surprised me, and when I got surprised by them, I was like, how is that? Like, how did you not see that? The Three Blind Mice should have seen that coming. How did you not see that coming? It's very good. Y'all, it's Leigh Bardugo. I really enjoy Leigh Bardugo's writing, and she can, like, spring things up on you that you're like, how is that surprising? How did I not see that coming? So even though it really is kind of like ACOTAR fighting into the darkness, all of those things, it's still fresh, and I don't even know, it's still interesting. So I need to keep going with this. I might see if I can get the second book on Libby or something and listen to that whilst I'm still interested before I get off track with the Grishaverse again. So I did that, and then y'all, I read Broken Country. So I don't remember. I need to get this away from my face, because look at me with yellow so bad. Yellow turns me green. I don't know. I need to set this, but I think the might even be worse. Oh no, the green. I'm okay with the green. I don't know how I ended up with this book. This might have been, and we talked about this. I think I hauled it, or I showed it to y'all when I got it or something. It might have been one of those like buy one, get one half price on the Amazons. And so it's well received, well reviewed. I have to put that down. I cannot have that yellow by me. But I didn't know anything about it. I just bought it because I was intrigued by the cover. And y'all, it is absolutely fantastic. It's set in the British countryside, which generally I'd be like, no, no. Because over there, like, fries are chips and apartments are flats and things confuse me. And they're like, it's like we speak the same language, but we really don't. And I get confused and no, I'm just not going to do it. But I did it. And oh my gosh. So it's told from Beth's perspective. And Beth is the wife on a family farm. And it starts off, we're on the farm. The farm is farming. We're out there with the sheep and the sheep are sheeping. And then this dog runs up and the dog does some dogging. And then things go a little off the rails from there. So I breezed right through that when I was reading it. That I'm going to go ahead and warn you right now that a dog comes up, kills some of the sheep. They have to put the dog down. Like right then they kill the dog. Which normally I'd be like, nope, close it, move on. But it happens very quickly in the book. And that's not a harbinger of things to come. Like they don't. Do y'all hear that now? The freaking Air Force is coming and flying over my house. Please, more noises. More noise, worse light. Please, just bring it all. Anyway. I was concerned that because that happened so early on that we were going to have like this whole book of like farm animal killing things. It's not. So please don't, like, if you're bothered by that, once they get to the sheep, just, kind of, but it's important. Like, it's an important part of the story. So anyway, that happens and things take off from there. And y'all, it is so, so good. It's sort of 3 timelines that weave together, and it's Beth and her husband and this other person that she used to know that's come back. And we learn about her life when she used to know him and her life with her husband and the way that they come together. And there's we find, we learn pretty early on that somebody gets killed. And y'all, I solved that murder 4 different times. Like, I marked the page where I figured out, I solved that already. I was completely wrong. Like, everything I thought I knew about it was, most of what I thought, there was one thing that I thought I knew about it that I was right about, but everything else I was wrong. And then I solved it again, a little bit less wrong, but still very, very wrong. And then in the end, I got it, but not completely. So it is very good. It kind of keeps you guessing, but it's not the kind of thing where you're like, good Lord, can you just get there? Like, I'm tired of not knowing what's going on. It's small town, but not like I'm going to topple these books. It's small town, but not like this kind of small town. It's bucolic. If you know the word bucolic, like pastor, like this is bucolic. That's the feeling that you get throughout the whole thing. And I wonder if maybe that's why all of the things that happen are so, like, they're jarring, but not in, I don't know, like they're okay. Because the whole time you get this sort of like pastoral, I'm in the British countryside feel to the whole thing. It is great. The characters are really good. The banter, it's British, but the banter is really good. It is, y'all, it is superb. Like, it is really, really good. I was tempted to read it did I tell y'all? So Patreon, we have a Patreon. I don't know if I can link it here, but here, you know what? I can link here the video where I introduce my Patreon, where we're doing book clubs. And I thought about doing this for book club, but then I was like, it might be a little much but I don't know. Anyway, it's that kind of good. Like, I was like, oh, I want to talk about this with all of my friends. So I might maybe I'll do an in-depth discussion of this over on Patreon, or do give folks a chance to read it. And then if you want to talk about it, we can have a chat with spoilers once everybody's read it. It's that kind of good. Anyway, I want to talk to other people about it and about when I thought what I thought, but I don't want to say anything because I'm definitely not going to spoiler that. So I'm done talking about that. But it was exceptionally good. And then, y'all, okay, hang on. I was going to do these in a certain order, but now I'm going to do them backwards. I got, can y'all even still see what I'm doing? This light is so bad. I'm almost done. I got Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil. And I know this is not a book haul, but I have to show y'all this because I am so, so excited. This is the new V.E. Schwab book that just recently came out. And if you ordered and got one of the first releases, you'd get a signed copy. Guess what I got? I know. So I know y'all are thinking she's going to buy another copy because she's not going to put her grubby paws all over that signed copy. You're not far from right, but so I got this and then I was like, okay, I'm not ready to read that yet because I want to like read that slowly and like just soak it up because I love, love, love V.E. Schwab so, so much. So I reread Addie. Y'all. I love, look at my tabs on The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I love this book so, so much. This is like my fourth reread, my fourth read of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So here's what this is about. Addie LaRue's like real timeline is early, like 1718-ish France, and she's set to get married and she don't want to get married. So she makes a deal with this god, I guess, that she meets up with after dark, and it promises her, it promises her freedom and time, which is what she wants because she's literally about to enter into this arranged marriage where she will have no freedom and like her time will not be her own. Like she has no more time to do what she wants to do. She's finna get married. So it promises her freedom and time, but she will no longer have her name. Like nobody will ever remember her. So she will go through like all of the future. And as soon as she is out of someone's sight, they forget her. She will never be remembered. And like at first you're like, okay, that's not such a big deal, but it's a really big deal. And I don't even know, y'all. It's just such an interesting take or an interesting conversation about visibility. Like, you know how like you hear somebody say like, I feel seen or like that kind of thing. It's an interesting way to think about that, about your actual visibility or like being seen. Like once you're seen, if you're not remembered, like what is it all about? About like establishing a legacy, making a name, literally making a name for yourself. It's so good. And it's so, I don't know, it's so beautifully written. And this might have been the first historical fiction that I read that I was like, I might not hate historical fiction, but it is heartbreaking, but so, so good. So I reread that. I just finished this. And now I want to read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This is something, did I even say anything about what this was about? I think all I said was that I got a signed copy of it. So it's something about vampires. Like three young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangled like roots. One grows high, one grows deep, and one grows wild. And all of them grow teeth. They're vampires. I love it. I'm so excited to read this. So we will most likely not read this for book club, but I talked about this in my Patreon video for our first book club read. My book is downstairs because I've been reading it. We are reading Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've started it. It's fantastic. I am so excited. Y'all, please go over and check out my Patreon to check out the different levels. I'm not going to go into it here because I did already on my Patreon introduction video, but I think that would be a great way for us to get to know each other, really for me to get to know y'all, for us to have conversations and talk about books. So check that out, and y'all, that's it. I'm done. I am out of here. Let us know, what have you been reading? What'd you read in June? And what are you reading in July? Let us know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so, so much for hanging out with me through this horrible light and this snoring dog. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos over on Fit Danielle Eats the beginning of every week, with some book videos over here sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.